Welcome to NET Vaper Reviews. This year was a year with exceptionally good mouth-to-long RTAs. All the mouth-to-long RTAs that I reviewed are very good mouth-to-long RTAs, and if you own one of them, you should be happy that you've got something good. I went through the list that I reviewed this year, and all of them are exceptional. Some of them got a bit better on this, a bit less on that. But the overall quality of all those mouth-to-long RTAs, I'll consider very good quality. I've got two mouth-to-long RTAs that I always considered as a benchmark to compare other mouth-to-long RTAs, and that is my Kayfun Lite and my Kayfun Prime. I know there is most probably more high-end out there, but what I've got. So these two I will consider the near perfect mouth-to-long RTAs. Now, quite a few of them that I reviewed this year come quite close. I can't go through the whole list, but as a quick one, the Pioneer, the Artemis, the Expromiser V4, the Steam Crave Glass Mini, intake mouth-to-long RTA from Org Vape and Mike Vapes. Yeah, they come close, very close to very high-end mouth-to-long RTAs. I didn't think that this year I will find something that will shake these two off, well, not off, but challenge toe-to-toe with my best mouth-to-long RTAs. And today's review, that's a tank that, you know the expression, knocked me for six. The Sputnik mouth-to-long RTA, and it's from Kluster Mods, Swiss made, and it's named after the Russian satellite Sputnik. At the time it was cutting edge. And here it is in the flesh on my Aspire mix. But before we go into it, I did a recording build and wick of this tank over a week ago now. And let's go through to that section. And there is quite a lot of information. I will talk it through while I build this tank. And we'll go through all the components in this tank. We'll see what's this mouth-to-long RTA, what's so special about this, and it is very, very special. And then we'll come back up top and we'll finalize this review, and I'll tell you what I think of the Sputnik mouth-to-long RTA. A spoiler, awesome, amazing. Okay, let's go to the build and wick. So let's have a look at the Sputnik mouth-to-long RTA. So it comes in a tin, and it says Kluster Mods with the sort of a rocket. Yeah, this famous Sputnik, the Russian. SPK RTA, and on the other side it says, hard for me to read, it is a project by Rockstar. Yep, you can see it yourself. Okay, so let's, on the top here is got Kluster Mods Sputnik. Now this is your authenticity. So let's see what it says on it. Follow us and see instructions manual here. And the other side it says this is a genuine product made in Switzerland by Kluster Mods. Now this is very important to keep, because if you lose this, you can't prove it's authentic. So quite a few clones out there. So this is important not to lose. Okay, so let's have a look what we've got in the tin. This is Not so much a stand, but this is to change your airflow. I suppose it could be like a display stand as well. We'll come to it in a minute. And here is the RTA mouth to lung. As you can see, it says you got the serial number in the bottom. This what on the deck. This is what shows it's genuine, I suppose. But you'll need this piece as well. Yep, I think so. Anyway, this is the tank. We'll go through it in a minute. Let's just see what else is in the bag. You get O-rings. That's very important in this case because there's hardly any threading on this tank. And a few extra screws for your deck. And that is it. Yep, that is it. Okay, so let's put this away for now and let's have a look at this amazing mouth-to-lung RTA. Right, so we'll start with the top. This is a 510. That you can change to whatever you want. Yep, very comfortable mouthpiece. And this is the PMMA. It's not glass, but there's no threading here. So what you do is you just pull this out. Now when you first get it, it will be quite stiff. We'll look at the deck in a minute. When you first get it, it's quite stiff. So what's a very good idea is to put it on a mod and you pull it off as if it was an RDA and then put some VG. That's what I've done. So we'll come to that in a minute. Now this is the chimney. To get out the chimney you need some kind of tool. So you just push this out and it comes out. And this is a very interesting, you might see droplets of water or VG because I washed this thoroughly and I put some VG in the top here, wherever there is connections. Now, this Sputnik have created an RTA mouth-to-lung that is cutting edge engineering in regards of speed of airflow and precision. So the chimney is built here accordingly as well, this design. You can see it's a completely different type of, it's not rounded, it's completely flat. So apparently the air comes in with a very strong velocity from the airflow that I'll show you in a minute and hits the coil, and then it's so condensed, this chimney, that you get the purest flavor, imaginable apparently. Yeah. Okay, so let's put this back. So you just click this in and that's it. Now the juice you put in here. It's a bottom fill, so it's very similar to the Kayfun light. But the Kayfun light has got juice ports. This, you just have to get your bottle in between, and this holds 3.8 ml of liquid. And that is quite a lot for a mouth-to-lung tank. Let's just make sure we're getting it straight. Now you'll see my fingers might get a bit wet with it's more VG than water, but now let's have a look at the deck. Okay, so before we take this one, this is the deck. Now let's have a look. You see, this looks quite straightforward and simple, but in reality this is amazing engineering. As you can see, there is here a ridge. Now this ridge leads into the juice wells. So when you put your coil like this, and your cotton can be either touching this ridge and going into the juice well, or just in the juice well. But this tank has got a juice flow, and I'll show you that in a minute. So when the juice comes down, it hits this section here and it runs down into where the wick is, and the wick takes as much liquid as it needs. So you never get no dry hit, no leaking, no flooding, because it's precision the way this is designed. Although this looks quite simple, but really this is a lot of engineering here, and this is where the Sputnik comes in. Yeah, cutting edge technology and innovation. So that's where the name was taken, I suppose. Now here you've got your juice flow, where the juice comes into the wicking ports. There's no airflow configuration that you could move. There's no external airflow. This is the only airflow you get. But the heart of this tank is in the base. Now over here it says KM. Yep. In order to open this, you use this tool. You see these two like metal things. You just align them and you just turn, and then you can just turn it by hand. This is your base plate with the insulator, and this is your 510, but this is the heart of this tank, the air disc. Let me just give this a wipe. See, I wash all my RTAs thoroughly before I use. Now you can see here there is 6 holes. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now each air disc represents equivalent. This is a 1.2 millimeter. I've got another air disc that is equivalent to 1 millimeter, and there you'll see 4 holes, and there is 1.5, 1.7 equivalent. Now the air velocity that comes through these tiny holes goes into the chamber and creates a very powerful air current to come up through this 1.8 millimeter hole under the coil, and that in return goes into this narrow chimney. So you're getting the perfect balance between airspeed and accuracy to get you the maximum flavor of that you could imagine. So this is a lot of it's a lot of engineering and thought went into this. Now here you've got a screw that holds your 510 positive, the pin, the positive, the one, the insulator. But even if you take out this screw, this would not come out, the positive one, because it's fixed in its setting. Sort of it's standing, is firm. You could probably get it out somehow, but it wouldn't fall out with this screw being taken. But there's no reason why you should take out this screw. So this is the 1.2. I'm going to try it first on the 1.2. And I've got here a 4-hole configuration, and this is equivalent to 1 millimeter. This should be tight as a cigarette drawer. We'll try it later. Now, even though you've got a screw in here, this would straighten itself out as soon as you put back the plate. And everything falls into place. Now this tank hasn't got, this is the only threading that you've got on this tank. There's no other threading besides these posts. This is amazing precision, that everything is really held by you know, like that, and this just holds perfect. Yeah, I mean, no, never leaks, never anything. It's just a perfect seal. And if you can see your juice flow, and let me just tighten this to the mod, you can see your juice flow opening. 1 minute. You can see the juice flow opening and closing. It's a bit difficult to do it without being on a mod, on a thing. So if you see here, you can see the juice flow. Now you can see here how it opens and closes. Yeah, you can see it right over there. It's easier to do it with some mod. See, it's opening now, fully open. Yep, but we'll go through that soon. In any case, let's now build the deck. So for this, I'm using, for now, I'm going to use a core Clapton, and later on, I'm going to change it to a round wire. I want to see if there is any difference, because they say that this tank is so advanced in flavor that even a round wire will bring you maximum flavor. But I love these coils, and I want to see, because on my Kayfun light I've got the same 1 ohm core Clapton coil, so I just want to give it a fair chance to see if, because this is a square rival to the Kayfuns, to the Kayfun Prime and the Kayfun Light. Yeah, it's got a lot of similarities to the Kayfun Prime in the airflow, because the Kayfun Prime has also got some kind of like disc type of, but this is a bit more precise, may I say. Okay, so in order to build this, you need, it's quite straightforward. Oops. So what you got to do is just get your coil in, and that's it. Just hold on there for a minute. Right, I'm gonna have to put my finger on it, otherwise I'm gonna forever. Right, so you see it's quite straightforward. You just put in your leg here, and then you put your leg here, and then you straighten out the coil later. Really, I would like to wrap this around a bit, so like this we know it's proper secure. Now what we want is to get the coil positioned a bit in a slant. So when you wick it, you are in the right position to wick. So this looks to me perfect position. Yep. So what happens is that when your wick goes in here, the juice will run down here and moisten your wick on either side. So I just want to make sure that I tighten this fully. Now everything here is so precision that even the screws turn like you have to play around with it, touch it and feel it. Everything here is so precise. Swiss precision, yeah. This is just perfect, the way everything turns. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I've secured this screw properly. So I'm going to use, you see, you can turn a bit more with these type of screwdrivers. Okay, I think this is secure enough. Let's cut off the leads. And this one here as well. Now what I'm going to do is, see, because this goes on top, you don't want these pointers to damage the glass or the plastic, whatever it is. So just bend them in a bit. That's it, done. Let's give this a small pulse. That's it, perfect. Let's see the ohms. Yeah, 1 ohm, 1 0, 1 ohm. It's a 1 ohm. Okay, so now let's wick it. Am I in the camera? Yeah. Okay. Just let us cool a second. While it's cooling, I'll have a vape. I'm super excited with this tank, and we'll talk about it on top. But this is super exciting for me. Right. And let me just get this a bit more central. That's it. So you notice the coil is, or maybe I've over slanted it 1 minute. Yeah, that's better. And it's more or less just above the air hole. You don't want it too down. I suppose I can take it down just a little bit. Let's just make sure everything all right. Yeah, it's gonna even out on the. Okay, let's coil it. Wick it, I mean. So you feel a bit of resistance, but not too much. Now to cut it, I will cut it. So what you do is you bend your wick to the deck, because the juice will come in from here and go into that juice hole. So you want roughly, and then you just check it and to see if it's too long. No, I think it's fine. And you want to keep them a bit thick. You don't want to thin them, because you've got that ridge So you want to have the wick sort of touching a bit of the ridge and going downwards as well. Okay, now this is a bit, let me rake this out just a little bit. This is a bit too thick. Also it gives it a good fluff. Here I'll just cut off a bit. Right, let's get them into the ports. Just gently feed them in. So what you have is really a bit going over this ridge. So there is two methods. Either you really keep them quite trimmed and just in the juice well, or a bit thicker and sort of overlapping this ridge. So like this, when the juice comes through the juice flow, it hits the cotton perfectly. And we'll do the other side as well. And here I don't have to thin it. Yeah, okay. So here we have it. Yeah, that's the way. So you got your wick sort of covering this whole space, and but this little ridge here is exposed. Yeah, that's the way things should be done. Now the liquid I'm using is El Chapo, delicious liquid, and I've got in the Kayfun light the same liquid, so I want to see what's the difference between the two tanks. I have a feeling that my Kayfun light might found his match, not only in flavor but in quality of build and airflow. Yeah, so that's super excited for me. Okay, let's see what, let's give it a fire first. Yeah, 0.98. We'll see how it goes on the mods. Okay, it's 1 ohm. Now what we do is we take off okay, and now we'll fill up the juice. I'll show you how it's filled up. Now this bottle is nearly finished, as you can see. Yeah, so I'm using another one. This is so good, this juice, and if you've got a good RTA mouth to lung, the flavor is superb. Okay, let's fill up the tank. So you put your nozzle on the side, and that's all it sits, and you just fill up the tank. Don't forget, this holds nearly 4 ml of liquid. It's a lot. Okay, that's enough for now. Now, there's no threading in this RTA mouth too long. So what you do is you simply that's it, done. And just make sure the airflow is open, the juice flow I mean. It's a bit stiff in the beginning, but let me put this, I'll put it on a mod. So the mod I'm using for this one is my Expire Mix. Let me wipe my hands first. There's no leaking from here at all. It's amazing precision. I mean, how everything holds it. How do I get the here we go. Here's the juice flow now opening. So I'll keep him all the way open. So now the juice flow is open. You can see the bubbles already. See? And now we'll put it on the mod. It should fit nicely. It's a 22mm. And I think it looks very nice indeed. What do you think? Looks very nice. Yeah, this is a 52mm. We'll talk about it on top in a few days. I'm going to test this now a few days. I'm going to try it on different types of coils, a few different flavors. And I want to see now the airflow and the flavor. So, right, 16 watts. Whoa, the flavor. Wow. And the airflow is perfect and silent. You can't even hear it. This is amazing. Airflow and flavor. Now, I don't want to lengthen this review too long, but I just want to show you that you can change the airflow plate when the tank is full, no problem at all. You just take this one out. You'll never see any leakage here, never. Completely dry. And we'll take this one. I mean, it might take me a few more minutes this review, but this tank is definitely worth it. Now you can see here is only 4 holes, and this is equivalent to 1mm. So let's see how the airflow is on this. Put it on the mod. Let's try it. This is like a cigarette drawer. Exactly. Too tight for me though. Too tight for me. But I will change it back in a minute. I just got this one just in case, because it's very expensive, this tank, and the shipment was expensive, so I said I might as well buy another air disc just to be sure that one of them for sure is good for me, either 1 or 1.2. So I got them both. But the 1 millimeter equivalent, this one here, the 4-hole, is very tight indeed. If you like a cigarette drawer, this is for you. I like it a bit more airy, just a touch area. This is the perfect drawer, the 1.2. I mean, it is perfect. I don't want to get carried away now. Is it better than a Kayfun yet? Because I've got a few days to try it. But I can tell you that EH Pro was for me always, the True Tank was for me a benchmark for airflow. This is my new benchmark already. It's as smooth like you can't imagine. And silent. Okay, we will talk about it I will use it now for a few days, try it on different flavors. I'll maybe change the coil as well, and then we'll finish off this review in a few days time, but for you will be just 1 second. Right, so you've seen the built-in wick, you've seen how the airflow works with those discs, and you saw how easy is it to coil and wick. Now there's a few things. I've been vaping this now for nearly a week, and since then I changed a few things. So in regards of the wicking, there is 2 methods of how to wick it, as I said below. Either you leave the wick thick to cover that ridge and go into the juice well itself, or to get it thinner and tuck it into the juice well. So I since changed that method and used the method that I thin out the ends of the cotton and I just stuck them into the juice wells. I found that it's a much better wicking system. Not that I had any burnt flavor through the other wicking, but I felt it wasn't right. So I undone it, and I will show you myself. I mean, how this tank is very easy to show. I just hope the camera will pick it up quickly. You just pull this out, yeah? And the more, now it's really easy to do because it's properly lubricated. In the beginning, it might be a bit stiff, but you can see how the wick is. You see, the ridges here are completely clear, and the wick is inside the juice wells, and I thin them out a bit, and it is amazing. So you just plug it in, and that's it. Now, this tank is precision, Swiss precision. Yeah, have you ever been to Switzerland? The trains leave on the second. Yeah. This RTA mouse to long is perfect. Let's start with the mouthpiece. The mouthpiece is super comfortable. I like the appearance of the tank. Nearly 4 ml of liquid in this. To put in your juice is very easy. You just, as you saw now, I just lift it out, put in your juice, put it in. It's easier than the Kayfun Prime, because with the Kayfun Prime, you have to screw it off. And you have to hold this bit and screw the bottom bit, and sometimes it gets stiff, and sometimes you open up this side. It's not difficult, but this is a toddle. You just saw. Lift. Right, so the mouthpiece is just as comfortable as this is the clear one from the Kayfun Light. Build quality. Yes, this is called PMMA. Yes. This is the only, if it was glass, it would have, I don't know the reason why they didn't do glass, because I assume it's a bit more risky when everything is without threading. You can't do with glass without threading, so the only material they can use is the PMMA. If you look after it, it will last for ages. Some people say if you put in certain liquids, it might cause damage. But anyway, this tank is for tobacco. It's a bit of a shame to spend so much money on fruit liquids if you can get the same flavor from a quarter of the price on the Pioneer and my Artemis that is not here in the moment. And even the Kayfun Light is cheaper. This is 96 euros, this tank. So this is really meant for tobacco, and the flavor you get from this tank is more defined. I wouldn't say miles better, but more defined than my Kayfun's. I've got the same juice. Now I'm coming down to the coil. I changed the coil to a round wire, and I didn't find a drop in flavor as per se. I feel it was a bit better on the core Clapton. Maybe it's my imagination. I've been chain vaping it on the round wire. Maybe it's my imagination. But I put in a core Clapton, as I showed you the same coil that I used before. I just took it out, I didn't throw it out. I just put a round wire, and then I put back the coil that I've used when I build it. And in here, you got the same coil. This comes up as a 101, and this comes up now as a 105. Yeah, and the same juice, the El Chapo. It's well, I mean, I think this has got the edge over. The prime, the airflow of the prime is more resembles this one on the third number on the plate of, and the third hole on this one on the prime. Yes, but the only difference is this is absolutely silent. Now, if you want to know all the ins and outs of how this airflow works and why is it so precise, I recommend you, because there isn't many reviews in English on this tank, but I did come across a guy called Klaus Jedelski. Jedelski. Well, if you put in Sputnik, you'll come up to his review, and it's in English. And he goes on and on, I think like 20 minutes, explaining the air, how this all works, the airflow. But in a nutshell, it is the most probably sophisticated combination between working out air speed through what terminal it's going through and in what velocity it hits the coil and to your mouthpiece. It's fascinating. I listened to it the whole length because for me it's a new thing. I mean, this tank is so I was fascinated to know all about it. So I can't repeat everything he said, but in a nutshell it means that the airflow on this, I don't think any mouth-to-long RTA in 2020 could come to the precision of the airflow for mouth-to-long. I've got in here the 1.2 millimeter disc, the 6-hole. If you like it very tight, you could use. This warranty thing, you need to look after it, because if you ever want to sell this tank, I mean, it's expensive, and most probably in years to come it'll be even, I don't think it'll drop in price. You need to keep this. This air disc that I got, I'm happy I got it, because I would always think maybe I could have gone better than a 1 millimeter, and the shipment costs money. And I thought it makes sense just to order at the same time. It doesn't cost much. I think it's €8, something like that. It's €8 per disc. Now, apparently, they went through 54 different air configurations until they came up with a disc that they've got available for sale. I mean, they went through the works, that is for sure. Swiss are known for the Swiss watch, right? The accuracy and cutting edge engineering, and they implemented this on this tank. And the draw on this is so perfect. I mean, yeah, the Kayfun Prime is the nearest one that I can get to this. I mean, the Kayfun Light, I could screw in a bit more in the base, but I like the draw that's on it now. Definitely noisier, for sure. I mean, listen to yourself. Near silent. Near silent. The Kayfun Prime has got a bit the closest to this one. So, but the Kayfun Prime is more or less the same price. In other words, what I'm trying to say, my Kayfuns no longer are on the hierarchy on the top. And this is interesting because now we're in what? We're now on the 26th of November while I'm recording this. So we've got a month to go till the end of 2020. I don't think I will find a mouth-to-long RTA better than this in 2020. I can't wait for 21 to see what comes up. But for me, 2020, I think this is the finale for my mouth-to-long RTAs. I don't think I need to look further for something to beat this Sputnik, because I don't think I'll find it. I might be wrong. I didn't try all the mouth-to-long RTAs in the market. Yeah, I haven't got a vape shop to try them all, and even a vape shop hasn't got them all. Yeah, but out of the excellent mouth-to-long RTAs, I'm not putting away any of the mouth-to-long, the Spire, the Pioneer, the Artemis, the Reload, the Pandora, all those were excellent mouth-to-long, mid-budget. But when you're talking about high-end, you don't have so many. And the ones I have got, the 2K funds and this one here, this is now on the top of my list for 2020. What makes this tank for me is the fact that there's no threading here. The only threading you've got is actually threading down the 510 onto your mod, and the plate that you take out to change your airflow. And this you can do while the juice is full, but I suppose you can do that as well with Artemis. I can change the pin while it's full, but I mean, is never a leak, no condensation. It is perfectly dry, and I chain vaped it to check the cotton. But since I moved the cotton to the juice well, away from those ridges, when I left them on the ridge and you chain vape, I felt the flavor is not exactly 100% the way I was. So I re-wicked, I think the day after I've done the recording for the build and wick, and I showed you how I was done it. I thinned them a bit, put them into the juice. So easy. You just have to thin them a bit, tuck them in, and that is it. And just cut them to the right length the way I did it on the build and wick. You can chain vape this for hours on end. It just wicks phenomenally. And now to open and close your juice flow is super easy. It was a bit stiff when I was down below, but now it's just super easy. You just turn it, and you can see already the bubble come up. I mean, it's instant reaction, and there's no problem at all in over opening the juice well, because the juice flow, because the juice flow has got that, it goes down to the ridge and the wick takes it as much as it needs it. It's perfect engineering the way they've done the wicking, the juice flow, how it works, and the airflow and the flavor that goes through this very thin chimney. with the air pressure of those air discs. So you can imagine it's like a turbine of air tunneling into a very small, so the power is tremendous, but you don't feel anything. It's all in the background. So when you inhale, you get a perfect draw, but the coil is getting the full velocity of that air, and it gives you that extremely defined flavor that I haven't experienced in all my mouth-to-long RTAs. Okay, I'm going to leave below the whole description of this tank, a bit longer than my usual. Besides the specifications, I would also put down the whole description on this tank. It's a very interesting read, but already the review is taking a bit long, but I hope you understand that this tank needs a long review, so you can always pause and start again, or fast forward if you're not interested. 52 comparison, it's smaller than the Kayfun Prime. It's more or less the size of the Pioneer. So it's a compact tank. It's not massive, but it's holding 4 mil of liquid, 3.8. It's the same size as the Pioneer, and it's holding at least 1 mil more. I think this is around 3 mil. I like the look of it. It looks high end. It looks very, very nice. The only marking you've got here is the rocket, yeah, Sputnik, and the serial number to show you that it's genuine. This is very important. And the most important is this: you will not get this with a clone. Okay, so this is very important to keep. What else could I tell you? I will put everything below. Everything below. You saw how easy it is to take it off, to put in your juice, just plug it out. It's so convenient. And just one thing, when you put it on a mod, just when you screw it, when it comes to a standstill, leave it. Don't overscrew, because if you overscrew, it's not so easy. You don't want to start turning the top bit. So just leave it, and that's it. Well, so I think I concluded my review on this exceptional mouth-to-long RTA, the Sputnik. Yeah, I heard about it quite a while. Someone left me in the comments, why don't I try it? I didn't want to tell him that I'm vaping it while I'm replying to him. So, because I wanted him to get a surprise when I do this review. Yeah, so I'm very happy I got this, worth every penny. You can get it on, Google it. You'll find, I think it's only available on European websites. All the same price. I don't think there's any discounts on these type of tanks. €96, worth every penny. And if you like a tight mouth-to-long draw, but not too tight, perfect, go for it's already supplied. The 1.2 comes with the tank. You don't need to buy, unless you like it very, very tight like a cigarette, then you buy the 1 millimeter equivalent. Add this onto your list. And another thing, before I just close this review, is these you must look after, because this whole tank works on precision matching components and by the O-rings. So do not lose those O-rings, but you can get more O-rings if you ever need to. Nothing here is, no threading, everything is exactly right and perfect, never a leak, never a problem at all. Okay, I hope I concluded this review and I put all the information for you here. I would love to hear your comments, if you've got one, or if you want to buy one, what do you think of it? I would love to hear other people's ideas about this tank. I am super, super happy with this mouth-to-long, and I'm sure you can tell by this review how excited I am about this one. Okay, sorry for the lengthy review, but I think it does deserve a lengthier review. Until the next time, take care, enjoy your vape, bye-bye for now.